يلا في Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you all to Family Safer Online Training, a guide, of course, for parents to make the most of the digital age. My name is Kgothatso Mogopi. I am official trainer of AfricaKidsCode, which is in partnership with Google Digital Skills for Africa. So today, of course, I'll be taking you through the training of how to keep your family safer online. So we need to also take into consideration some few rules. Should you be having something to ask, or should you be having something that which you feel like you need clarity on, kindly raise on the comment box. Myself or my colleagues shall attend to it. As and when you do that, introduce yourself and then where you are from. If there is something that we are not covering, let the participants, of course, do know. So, in essence, I welcome you to the introduction of the online safety. Let's discuss the challenges on parenting in the digital age. Modern kids have never, of course, known a time when they couldn't, in a way, connect to the entire world via the internet. In fact, they probably spend more time online than anywhere else. Certainly, more than you, the parent. Let's dive in and help us as parents better understand the landscape. Ask yourself how old you were when you got hold of this kind of technology. For kids of today, the internet is becoming part of growing up. Children, of course, being the fastest adopters of this technology. Wherefore, between the age of 15 to 24 years old, typically outnumber the overall of online population. The global proportion of the people, of course, aged between 15 to 24 are using the internet, which is about 71%, is significantly higher than the proportion, of course, of the total population using the internet, which is 48%. This according to the statistics of South African population that was taken between the year of 2016 and 2017. Most parents feel they know what their teens are doing online, but teens don't think so. So, what are your children actually do online? Kindly please let us know on the comment box what you think your children do online. Do you feel, of course, you have got a complete handle on what they're doing online? And then how do you monitor what they're doing online? Well, most of the parents are worried or suggest that their kids do gamings while others are downloading, and then as some are connecting with friends. But there are also some kids whom are also doing some things online that which you as a parent, you wouldn't love to see them doing such. The digital technology has become the fundamental part of children's life. Your child needs to understand these same principles apply online. Although there is a tendency to limit access, tech can be amazing force for good because about 64% of people chat online with their friends. About 52% of these children do watch video clips, while about 53% of children do play online games against their friends and strangers. So, what are the biggest concerns you face in keeping your children safe online? Please do raise the comments and the comment box. I shall therefore see them and raise. And as and when you do raise them, please do not forget to introduce yourself, meaning that we need to see your name as well as where you are from. What are the biggest concerns you are facing in keeping your children, of course, safe online? It is great to see, of course, in a way, that most of us are experiencing the mutual effect towards what our children are doing and then how to keep them online. But one thing for sure, which you need to understand, is that you are not alone. Because parents need to be more involved, engaged, as well as educated. You know why? We are living into the era of technology. Kids don't play outside anymore. Some parents are saying that my children are more tech savvy than I am, of which is good. People can pretend to be anyone online. These are called what we call the predators. Safety is paramount, and I'm concerned with what they get up to when I'm not monitoring them. Some parents are having such concerns. And then some says that I don't want them stumbling across the things they shouldn't be stumbling across. So you are not alone. Many more parents share the very same sentiments and are search for help. But today we have came for your rescue. Parents often forget the positive side to tech, and then they should embrace and reinforce it. We want to embrace the opportunities available for kids out there to use technology. One of those opportunities is that you can access the wealth of information for learning and homework, because there are also lots of interactive tools, games that can aid learning, some of which can be done with parents. The likes of play along. So number two, we're having a ways, of course, to find opportunities for work. That's some of the benefits for the internet. Number three, from starting a blog to following your favorite artist on Instagram, the internet can be a great way for young aspiring creatives to get started. However, the internet remains a complex place which was not built intentionally for children and is not regulated as other children services. So, tech is an amazing force of good. You know why? Because about 76% of the population or of the children aged between 9 to 17, according to the statistics taken in 2016 to 2017, it says that they use internet for homework as well as research, while 45% of them research work as well as study opportunities, and 3% have created or uploaded their own music, and then they are also downloading such online. Good thing, right? So, as and when I'll be taking you through this training, there are three things which we're going to discover. Number one, agenda disclose as follows. We are going to set the digital ground rules for the family. Secondly, we are going to discover and manage the family-friendly content. While thirdly, we are going to teach you how to protect your family's online privacy and security. So the objectives throughout this agenda will cover the purpose, of course, of a day by reviewing, of course, some of these objectives, which includes that one will be able to educate their learners on how they can safeguard their family online. How to demonstrate tools that protect family devices and accounts. To provide talking points to discuss with your family as well as online behavior. Let us just get to it. Number one, we're going to set the ground rules. Every family is different, of course, and therefore, the limitation, restriction, as well as guidelines you want your family to live their digital lives should be up to each individual family. Setting a ground rules as well can help you to enjoy the best of the internet, while understanding that there is a limit where the good of internet can become a negative impact if it's abused or overused. So, one thing which we need to ask ourselves is that what kind of ground rules do we currently set for our family online? What kind of the ground rules do you, as a parent, of course, setting your ground rules? So someone says that, Leslie says that he doesn't know what they are doing online. I think like he was answering the question, of course, which related to what do you think they are doing? A lot of positive impact, which kids, of course, are exposed to, in as much as they are so a lot of negative impacts that which brought us today onto this learning. So do not worry about having to set the ground rules. If ever you haven't set the ground rules, it is fine because you did not know. But today, lucky enough, here you are. There are three main activities we recommend setting a ground rules around. This includes screen time, the kind of the information you share, as well as the way you behave online. We will go into more depth on each of these topics now. So, firstly, you must establish boundaries around the screen time. You need to create a family rules about what to share. You need to establish family values online. So diving in depth into screen time, one should ask themselves that how currently do you approach screen time with your children? Are you good with screen time yourself? Are you able to manage screen time yourself? Let me find out on the comment box. So you don't have to worry, but you need to understand that in as much as there is positive side, there is also negative side because they are reciprocal. They cannot be negative without positive. So there are two positive impact in as much as there are two negative impact. So positive impact, it means that your children do complete homeworks. They search information online, and then in some school, they complete and submit work remotely. Number two, they connect with their friends and family. This means they keep in touch and share what is happening. There is also downsides, of which, of course, this is what happens. Effect on the screen time on the sleep. Sleep cycles are affected by blue light from the screen ticking our brain into thinking it is still a daily light, making it difficult to sleep. And then this could also, in a way, encourage antisocial behavior or health issues. There are concerns that children, of course, are spending less time outdoor and then with peers because they are on devices. Not all online activities are created equal. Take the time to assess how particular activities that your child is doing can help or hinder their development as they grow. What kind of activities would you limit your children's time on? What kind of activities would you like your children to do more of? Do you or do your children show a tendency towards any particular apps or program? So do not worry, we've got your back. There is an application we call a family link. So a family link is an application that which, of course, it is for your rescue. It will assist you to ensure that you manage the screen time for your children, as well as having to set the ground rules which you need them to, in actual fact, follow. For you to be able, in actual fact, to utilize the family link effectively, you must download an application which is available on Google Play Store. For you, there is an application called Family Link for parents. There is also an application called Family Link for children. And then you, of course, as a caretaker, you will also have to download a Family Link manager. So you will be able to set it up. First thing first, you will create a Google account for your children or family member. If your children is under the age of 18, Google will prompt you to link your email with theirs. And then it will furthermore prompt you to accept the terms and conditions. So, if ever you do not have a family link, I encourage you to ensure that you download it as soon as today, because it will assist you to manage the apps your kids use, to temporarily lock your children's device at the different times of the day, to set the screen time limits, to lock your children's device remotely and manage their devices or hide specific apps whenever it is time to play or study or sleep. For example, bedtime. Set a time, set a bedtime routine to lock up your children's phone while they sleep. Number 2, homework or dinner. Lock devices immediately so they can focus on their activities like studying or spending time with family. You might decide the right amount of screen time for your children, of which, of course, depends on what they are watching, playing, or learning. So, Family Link will also assist you to get the report on what they are doing. This is what we call analytics. So, Family Link, keep an eye on your key screen time, because, of course, it will assist you, as I've said previously, that it will assist you to set it up for them remotely. You will be able to monitor everything they are doing. But now, the question which we ought to ask is that, how would you talk to your children about screen time? You as a parent, how would you talk to your children about screen time? These are some of the things which you will need to, in actual fact, be talking about. Of course, it is important for children to know and understand why finding screen time balance is important. For that reason, we like to suggest using the 3 discussion points for talking about screen time with your children. Does the technology ever prevent you from being present? This is the first thing first. To begin with, talk about how devices can sometimes cause people to miss out on the things that matter to them. Touch on times when you weren't fully there for a particular moment because you were on your phone, and ask your kids if they have observed others, like friends or family, not being fully present with the people around them. Have your kids also experienced, or were they distracted from an important moment because of the technology? How, of course, in actual fact, did they feel about it afterwards? Were they on a particular app or game when it happened, and have they noticed a pattern in their own activity? Secondly, how does screen time affect focus, and why does it matter? What are the times and the place your family feels it is important to be focused? Is it during homework? While spending time with another? Is it about, in actual fact, having to be speaking to one another, or is it about the approach of the technology during this time when you want to keep your attention on the task? Lastly, we need to reflect on the ways, of course, to control our screen time, to allow our children to help you come with a solution on how to balance their own time. The digital age has made it super easy to share info online, as we are able to connect with friends and family through our mobile social media. However, with the accessibility comes with consequences. Can you think of any negative consequences to the freedom of expression sharing online has given the children? Well, most of you might say the invasion of privacy, social comparison, and digital footprint. Creating a rules about what to share will help your family be more aware and manage their info online, such as photos or private info. Let's dive into family values. So, one might be asking themselves about establishing what we call a family values. The internet offers entertainment for everyone, without a doubt. Many of us spend our time on the internet through laptops, smartphones, or iPads. The internet gives us access to the entertainment we seek online. We gain new experience, we watch videos, we view photos, we experience new topics and areas of interest online. There are also some online services that which of course the internet provides the services such as the emails, online banking and online shopping worldwide. Business owners use the internet to connect with customers online, vice versa. Online shopping enables someone, of course, in America to buy things in Asia, Africa, or anywhere connected through some simple click of the mouse. So the internet is a big reason behind us spending so much time on the. The internet brings many opportunities to those who choose to use them. Be clear, of course, about how you expect them to act online. Talk about online harassment because there are galore of them. Talk about the power of positive messages online. If ever there are any questions, please raise them onto the comment box and then let us articulate them all together. So, if ever there are no questions, of course, we ought to continue. So, we are moving into the second module, of which is discovering family-friendly content. In this, we are going to discuss the negative consequences of allowing unrestricted and uninformed access to the internet. We are also going to discuss the negative content. We are going to provide the tools for monitoring and controlling children's access to the content. We are going to provide discussion points for talking to the children around content. So, how does your child use the internet? And what kind of apps do they use? And then what kind of content do they consume? So many of these they come across will depend on your children's age as well as maturity level. We get the sense of which these are most worrying to parents and then how do they currently monitor if their child has come across this. It can be difficult to monitor what your children is viewing as they can access this material through the internet enabled device, including mobile ones such as phones or tablet. Still, the solution to this is still what we call family link. It will help you to, in actual fact, set a content restriction in Google Play through family link. It will help you to blacklist or whitelist a specific website. It will help you to also set filters for website browsing and turn safe search as well as on or off with family link. You need to, in actual fact, have a family link as a parent, because kids do go missing. Kids do watch things that which they should not be watching. But with family link, you will be at ease as a parent, knowing that your kids are safe. If you are using a Google Chrome, of course, which is available freely from Google Store, there are features that lets you create a different account profile for a supervised users as well as managers, giving you a complete control on how, of course, your children use the internet. If you are on Safari, of course, it also has got the built-in restriction setting you can activate to block adult content. If you are using Firefox or Internet Explorer, they also as well have the varying parental control you can activate. You can go one step further on a certain website and internet platforms such as Google, YouTube, iTunes. You can switch on family to friendly filters that should, in actual fact, identify and filter out potentially mature content. Once again, there are no flawless system, so it makes sense to use this alongside other parental control. Google Safe Search, of course, is one of the primary parental control options offered by the Google to help parents to policy search results. Safe Search helps to filter mature and potentially explicit content out of the search results. One thing you need to also know is that YouTube is not available for children under the age of 18 years old. There are some, of course, rules and regulations that which governs this. So, you need to ensure that you have turned on the safe search on your browser, as we have told you. You just have to go to search setting and put it on from their devices so that as and when they search, some contents will be filtered. And then should you be needing to know more about how to set this up, you need to, in actual fact, raise the comment here on the comment box, and then my colleague shall assist you. One thing that we also need to understand when it comes to YouTube is that YouTube has got some restricted mode. With YouTube, community guidelines includes guides on nudity or sexual content, hateful content, harmful or dangerous content, and violent or graphic content. While YouTube, of course, work hard to ensure all videos meet the community guidelines, due to the high volume of content uploaded to the site every day, you will understand that there is a risk that some video will break these guidelines and still be available to you. Additionally, just because something is acceptable under the guidelines, it doesn't mean that automatically they are in actual fact appropriate for all users. Restricted mode is there to help to protect the YouTube experience when you're watching YouTube content together. When enabled, you will also be able to see comments on the video that you watch to avoid any unwanted discussion. Please note that YouTube requires account holder to be older than 18 years, but also the 18-year-old can sign up with the parental permission, as many young people may access YouTube with their parents' permission, but may still view content not in their presence, where we ensure we are equipping you to protect your family's viewing experience. So ensure that you have turned on the restricted mode on YouTube. There is what we call YouTube for Kids, which you ought to download for them. It has got those restricted, of course, regulations already, and then it will be you as a parent, of course, allowing them to access it. If ever your kids is using the normal YouTube, you might as well, of course, know that they are up to something else. And then you need to really take into consideration what they are doing. So there is what we call read along. Apart from what I've told you, already we have touched about two applications, which is Family Link as well as YouTube Link. But you also need to take into consideration that there is what we call read along. Read Along is an Android app developed to assist kids in grade 1 to 5 to learn to read confidently, anytime, anywhere, using their own voices. It is a speech-based reading app that encourages children to read aloud just the way they naturally do, making it an engaging way to read. The Read Along uses Google's existing speech recognition and text-to-speech technology that powers a Google Assistant to serve as personalized reading tutor for kids and works even when they do not have data. The helpful in-app or artificial intelligence-powered reading buddy, of which we call it DIA. DIA, it is a robotic application, also encourages them by providing a positive reinforcement when they read correctly and help out by giving suggestions when they don't. Benefits of Read Aloud includes independent reading with friendly assistant, global collection of stories, play learning, get better, of course, every day. They are able, of course, to personalize their profiles, and then they're able to learn without Wi-Fi. Lastly, it has got privacy and security. Now, the question might be, how does this read along work? As I've told you that there is what we call DIA, which is an expressive animated reading assistant. DIA can read entire sentence, of course, highlighted each way as it reads so that the child can follow along. For example, it can say elephant, and then the child can say elephant. You see, mouse, mouse, such that. And then to some extent, children can even be creative on this. There is a certain particular video which is trending on Twitter. I think like you should watch it out. Wherefore, there is this particular grandpa with his kid, of course, they're using the read along app, wherefore they're reading from A to Z. And then it is fun. Hey, you should try it as a parent so that you can even just to bond with the children. As a child read aloud, DIA detects if a child is struggling with a passage of text and is able to provide the positive note called DIA at any time to help them to read a sentence or pronounce a word they don't know or understand. User can tap on any word to hear it pronounced. When they practice reading a word, the app will show them if the word was read correctly or it will make it green. And then if ever it wasn't read correctly, it will in actual fact flag it red. For non-native speakers of language, DIA explains the meaning of word or the sentence in the native language on the tapping for help. The app, of course, in a way also tracks the progress on the sentence and proactively offers support if it detects that the user is struggling. Read Along offers 100 stories per language with recommendation. Books can be downloaded and read offline. Users can collect rewards, of course, and awards to drive learning. That's what we love about Read Along. So learn to read with your voice, the magic of your voice. Because at the end of the day, Read Along purpose is what it does. You are able to download it from Google Play as well. How do you protect your family from negative content? So, if ever you're wondering how to go about it, you need to ensure that you start a conversation. Talk to your child about what they might find on the internet. Help them understand that sometimes they may come across things that they should or you will not prefer them to see. And then that might upset them. Encourage them to come and talk to you about it. Another thing you should, in actual fact, encourage them to say that think before you click. Help your children to understand that clicking on a pop-ups or links in unsolicited emails, of course, that offer things that are too good to be true may end up, of course, in a way, exposing them to the things they should not have seen. You should teach them to just ignore pop-ups. Supervise if you can, but if you can't, just ensure that you have got what we call family link. We know very much well that you will not be able to be supervising them throughout the days. So now, as and when you have learned about how to go about protecting them, you may now be asking yourself, how do you protect your family from negative content? We have just articulated it. If ever you are having any questions as well, please do raise it on the comment box, and then we shall, in a way, answer it. So I see Matapelo saying that great inside information. Well, you are recognized. So for any question, I'll not be in actual fact posing. I will just like you to raise them on the comment box and we shall articulate further. So how do we protect your family's security and privacy? In this module, we will be discussing thoroughly about the security dangers present to your children online, such as stranger danger, phishing attempts, identity fraud, and bullying. You are also going to be understanding how, the framework for parents to recognize signs of aforementioned dangers. So you will also demonstrate how to adjust privacy setting on social media apps. We will furthermore demonstrate how to create strong and secure password. We'll provide, in actual fact, you parents with tips to open discussion about being vigilant online regarding what's fake and what's not. We are going to provide parents with tips to open discussion about what to do when faced with online harassment. What is the most popular social media platform for kids? So most of these, we know them. So kids lately are on WhatsApp. Some kids are on Facebook. So that there are just so galore of the application that which lately kids are on. Some kids are on TikTok. So you name them. So and some is Snapchat, but most of the kids, of course, do love Snapchat. The increased use of mobile devices and greater access to broadband internet has made children more accessible than ever through unprotected social media profiles and online game forums. This is what UNICEF is saying. So we live online. Children as well as adults like to post pictures online. Our online profiles also share a lot of personal information, such as age, school, location, activities. Unfortunately, this type of information only helps scammers and groomers to manipulate child. With children removing the privacy setting, that leaves a lot of information open on the web for anyone to use. So the first step to helping your children to be safe, of course, is understanding ourselves, the type of information available on each platform, as well as what type of privacy setting can we control on their devices. You need to understand three things. You need to ensure that you are protecting your kids from stranger danger, from identity fraud, as well as cyberbullying. So, what is the stranger danger or online grooming? So, online grooming is a word used to describe people befriending children in order to take advantage of them for sexual purposes. It is easy to pretend to be someone on the internet, so children can sometimes end up having conversation with people whose real identities they may not know. Let's start by understand some of the things to look out for. So, what to look out for? Being secretive about who they are talking to online. Using a sexual language you wouldn't expect them to know. Switching screens when you come near the computer. So now you have to understand, hey, kunenginga. So, how do you speak to your kids about online grooming? Start a conversation. Uh, I read a story about an adult, of course, pretending to be a child online. Have any of your friends experienced anything similar? There's also a lot of stories that, which of course, lately they are out there on social media that expose children, of course, be speaking to strangers and then being very much comfortable. We really need to ensure that we understand what they do. Talk to them about the risk. Make sure your child knows that not everyone who is online, uh, they are who they say they are. Encourage them to come and talk to you if they are not sure about the identity of someone else. Agree to the rules, of course. Discuss with your family about where you stand on. For example, sharing information with strangers, keeping secrets from parents and boundaries to individual privacies, sharing pictures of their bodies, houses, or friends, meeting with friends they have met online in an offline space. Stay engaged. From time to time, review their social media together. You or a family member might want to be their friend on online to ensure they're making sensible choice. If you do friend them, watch or observe rather than taking part. So there are just so a lot of stories which are there. So many adults are pretending to be kids, but at the end of the day, it is so very much dangerous for kids because they do not know what they're exposed to. But you as a parent, you are the one to teach them how to go about having to be wise on the internet. So now let's talk about privacy and identity fraud. It is important to note, just like adults, children may be at risk of having their online identity stolen and misused. It can be difficult to maintain a children's privacy as they may not understand what information is safe to share online or what default privacy settings are on the site and the devices they are using. If children's identity is stolen, it may not be noticed for many years and could, in some cases, lead to a child being the victim of blackmail or grooming or bullying. Let's start by understanding some of the things to look out for. First thing first, check the online privacy setting. Go through the privacy setting with your children for every social networking site and app they are signed up to. Agree with them what they'll share and then with whom. Check the device setting. Check the privacy setting on the smartphone and tablets. Things to look out for are whether they are set up for location services, sharing of contents, photos, calendars, Bluetooth sharing, microphones, video, advertising. See our section on the safety page of the main devices. Find out, of course, what is already out there. Search your children's full name in several search engines. See what information and photographs are public. Use, of course, platforms like deceit.me to check the online exposure. I'll say it again. Check deceit.me. D as in decrease and then seed as in city. So to check their exposure, take action and go into incognito. Website on which they appear to remove inaccurate comments or photographs when using public computer. Your children can use incognito browsing. If your children's identity has been stolen, be sure to tell any affected website about the problem and get your child to log in and change their password immediately. So personal privacy and security are just as important online as they are offline. Privacy settings need to be updated across any platform that your children may be using. Most social media platforms that they may be using will have privacy settings that you can update. Here are some examples of social media platforms that you may be familiar with. Typically, the age limit of this 13 is your, and then they will, in actual fact, have privacy setting that you can update to protect their data and digital footprint. So, are you familiar with these platforms? Have you updated your own privacy setting on each of these platforms? It is very necessary for you as well to update it before you can even, in actual fact, getting onto their own services. As I've told you, they are what we call Facebook, YouTube, Snapchat, TikToks. These are most of the apps which kids are using. Lastly, WhatsApp. WhatsApp is also some of the application which they love using. So you need to monitor it. So you need to enable privacy setting on. Open the app and click your profile picture to open the menu. On your home tab, select setting. Change your name and profile setting. Easy as that. This is how you go about it on YouTube. So, like I told you about YouTube, YouTube is just straightforward. You just have to go to setting and then ensure that you set almost everything up that which you know that will not expose your kids to anything else. Or use the videos tab to edit the video setting. Whom should see, whom should not see. Select, of course, the media next to the video, and then, of course, select to edit. Tap privacy to edit the privacy setting of your video. So even if we lock down our security setting, anyone is able to hack into our account, of course, has got the total access to all of our information. Furthermore, once one account is hacked, a scammer can use this information to influence others. Therefore, one of the best protection against fraud is to have a strong password. Not all passwords are created equal. Many passwords are easily guessed by hackers, and then it is good idea to protect both yours and your child's identity by ensuring that your passwords match the strong password standard. Follow these tips, of course, to create a strong password. Make your password unique. Use a different passwords for each of your important accounts, like your email, online banking. Using passwords for important accounts is risky. Don't use one password throughout all your applications, because if someone hacks one application, it means they will automatically hack almost all of your application, and then it will eventually, of course, affect others. Make your password longer and more memorable. Long passwords are strong. These tips can help you to create longer passwords that are easier to remember. For example, a lyric from a song or a poem, a meaningful quote from a movie or speech, which you are able to remember, of course, a passage from a book, a series of a word that are meaningful to you. Use letters, numbers, and symbols when you're creating a password. With different types of passwords or symbols might be more difficult for people to guess, but also might be harder for you to remember. You can set up recovery info to avoid getting locked out if you forgot your password. Avoid creating passwords from info that others might know or could easily find. For example, your nickname or initials, the name of your child or pet, important birthdays or yes. Those are some of the things which you ought to avoid. So yeah, I see you, Matabelo. You have said that one should check their setting. So I can see that Matabelo is the one engaging. I'm very grateful for your comments. So there is what we call cyberbullying. In as much as kids are being bullied in schools, are being bullied in their communities, there is also what we call bullying online. It is really important that children who are bullied online know what simple steps they can take to help them to cope and then how to ask for support. Let us look at the do's or don't to give you as a parent some support. Please just answer the questions as do or don't. What do you think cyberbullying is? How is it different to other forms of the bullying? So, most of you might have heard of the term cyberbullying, but what really is this cyberbullying? So, bullying has changed as the digital world encouraged more, of course, children to take to social media and anonymous messages apps to share their experience and manage relationships. Cyberbullying differs from traditional bullying in that it is just doesn't take place at school or in the street. It can encroach into the home as children spend time online using phones, tablets, or computers. This new form of bullying, of course, that parents are not familiar with. One of the biggest difference between cyberbullying and face-to-face bullying is that it can be hard to get away from. Young people could be bullied anyway, anytime, even when they're at home. So, are you familiar with some of the terms? There is what we call harassment, outing, trolling, bans, roasting, and griefing. You can, in a way, if ever you are familiar, be to some extent, of course, inputting them onto the comment box. So you will hear various different words used in the contents of cyberbullying. So it helps to know what each of these means. So can you explain to me, really, of course, how you understand them? For example, you might not be familiar with all of them, but let us just tackle each one of them. So there is what we call harassment. Harassment targets an individual or group with persistent and offensive message, which could develop into cyberbullying. If ever you are watching Skim Sam, currently there is a case of Briti Sagamela as well as Nimrod Gunud. Nimrod doesn't really, in actual fact, think like he is harassing Briti, but Briti thinks that she is being harassed. Of course, those are some of the things which, of course, you need to take into consideration. Any remarks that, which, of course, sexual content, which makes one to be uncomfortable, is what we call sexual harassment. There is what we call outing. Publicly sharing personal or private or embarrassing information, photos or videos about someone online. So, we know there was once a video trending of a little child called Sesetu, which of course has been trending. And then there was once also a video of a particular minister, which of course was circulating. This is part of what we call outing. There's what we call trolling, of course. Trolling, deliberately posting provocative, of course, insulting message about sensitive subject or inflicting racism or misogyny on an individual. So bans are not really serious about it. Kids could be cruel but get away with it, saying it was just for a bans or fun. The term bans, it just means fun. So there's just some kids who are just on a social media to make fun of others. Matapelo, that's what bans are all for. So roasting, of course, is about ganging up on an individual online and sending offensive, abusive until the victim is seen to crack. If ever you are to go on Twitter, Twitter is full about roasting. Twitter roast, there is what they call black Twitter. They are just all about hashtags, of which, of course, they will, in actual fact, roast you until you lose what you have commented. If ever to some extent you have input some negative comments, they will roast you based on that. If ever you have put a positive, but some, of course, in a way, commented on you in a negative manner, they might as well roast such. There is what we call griefing, abusing and angering people through online gaming. So those are some of the meaning for those particular words we're talking about. What to look out for? You may start to suspect your children is being bullied online if they stop using their electronics devices or suddenly or unexpectedly. Seeming nervous or jumpy when using their devices or becoming obsessive about being constantly online. Reluctance, of course, to go to school or take part in usual social, of course, activities. Those are some of the signs which you should take into consideration. How to talk to your children about bullying. There are some things which, of course, they should do, and then there are some which they should not. You need to find out why. You need to talk it through. You need to teach by example, learn from it. And then what they should not do is that they should not get upset. They should not ignore it. They should not condone it or promote it. They should not, of course, take away their devices. So this is what you ought to do. Just ensure that you educate them. When we are saying in actual fact, find out why. Try and establish the facts around the incident and keep an open mind. When we are saying talk it through, talk about the blurred line between uploading and sharing the content because it is fun or might get a lot of likes versus the potential, of course, to cause offense or hurt. When we are saying teach by example, model and encourage positive behavior in your child and praise them as they take this on board. Learn from it. Above all, help your children, of course, to learn from what has happened. Think about what could do differently as a parent and as a family. Share your learning with other parents and careers. What you should not do, as we have told you, stay calm when discussing it with your child and then try to talk it with other adults to work through any emotions you have about the situation, because oftentimes, some emotions may take these kids into committing suicides. Don't ignore it. Take the situation seriously and don't blame someone else. If your children was cyberbullied in retaliation, you should tell them that two wrongs cannot make a right. It will just encourage the bully's behavior. Don't take away the devices we are talking about, because taking away the devices could even worsen the situation. Instead, encourage them and then finds the way to ensure that they are free and then they are happy throughout this, to know that you have got their back. What are some ways you will bring up bullying with your child? So you need to comment it or to tell me on the comment box. I shall articulate. So I will not necessarily pause for question because we are having few more slides that which we need to wrap up. I'll now be taking you through what we call tips and resources. So there is what we call Google Safety Center. You just have to say safety.google so that you will be able to learn all about safety. Be internet awesome, smart, alert, strong, kind, and brave. These are 5 things which you need to be. Is being internet, of course, awesome is designed to teach children the skills they need to be safe and smart online. It is based on the 5 core pillars. You share with care. This is about being smart online. You don't fall for fake. This is about being alert. You secure your secret is about being strong. It is cool to be kind. It's about being kind. When in doubt, talk it out. Being brave. So being internet awesome, of course, for you to understand it better, you may as well visit what we call safety.google/families/family-tips/ and then you will really in actual fact be prompt into having to take much more, of course, action as of how to be internet awesome. This will assist your children to practice skills they need to be confident online explorers in a free and easy to navigate games. So you may visit that site, of which of course is saying being internet awesome.withgoogle.com/ en hyphen underscore ng. So it will assist you. This helps to parents. You as a parent, you need to get involved through family activities. This will allow you to encourage their children to talk about internet in a fun way. So you may as well visit the link called bit.ly/2, of course, a capital Y, capital D, capital T, and then a smaller cap J, uppercase J and R, and then it will prompt you into the site. Digital Wellbeing Family is created, of course, to help you to talk about technology with your family through productive conversation and help you identify healthy habits that work for your whole family. You may as well visit what we call wellbeing.google/families/determine/. It will prompt you into going to that site. So, tips for engaging with your child. Number one, it is important not to bury our heads in the sand about the technology. When parents say they don't do social media or they don't get Snapchat, it is akin to leaving children to cross a busy road without training. So parents are missing golden opportunities to keep children safe and informed. Experts recommend become a digital moms and digital dads and navigate the online world alongside with our children. So a conversation about digital safety should be a two-way street too. Talking about benefits and dangers in a balanced way is the best way to maintain an open dialogue. So as I've told you, here are 4 simple ways to help build the conversation on online security. Talk early and talk often. Number 2, choose the right time. Number 3, open up and share too. Number 3, create a safe space. So in that way, your kids will really be safer. We are covered a lot, of course, today, I believe. There are some resources which we have articulated. I have spoken about Google Wellbeing Guide. I have spoken about YouTube for kids. I've spoken about Family Link for parents, kids, as well as Family Manager. I've spoken about Google Phishing Quiz. These are some of the applications which you must download. We have also spoken about the read along. So you just need to ensure that you are having all of them. So I would just like to appreciate your time for being with me. If ever you would like to learn more on this security or you have enjoyed our training for today, you may as well visit safety.google, as I've told you, or you may call Childline, of which you may dial 011-7281-347. You may as well report any cybercrime on 012-0031-400. You may visit the webrangers.co.za for more information. WebRanger, to know more, is a digital literacy program designed to allow young people to gain critical skills and knowledge around online safety that they can use to create innovative campaigns that promote safe internet usage and champions their rights in the digital world. The program is about creating young digital citizens who know how to use the internet responsibly and encourage their peers to do, of course, the same. So we are just so very much grateful, guys. And then I have really enjoyed your company. So may you, on the comment box, tell me what was your key takeaways from this session, and then what should it be improved. If ever, of course, you have also spotted some of the things that which you were not proud about me as your trainer, please don't hesitate to just raise them on the comment box, because each one teach one. We learn by teaching each other. So I appreciate you. Thank you very much.